And we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Living Dead Weekend Evans City preview show. And I did one of these for the Living Dead Weekend in Monroeville back in June. It's going to be the same deal. Going to do a little preview show tonight. And then plans will be to head to the event this weekend. And then probably do a recap show after. Probably do some stuff over the weekend, maybe some shorts. I might try to get on to a live stream depending on what the internet is like in the hotel. But yeah, needless to say, I'm fucking excited. I hope you guys are as well if you are attending. I hope this kind of gets you guys pumped up and ready to go. Try to get all the information possible that we can share. There's been some more. There's been some screening announcements since we last did a stream. There's been a couple of more guest announcements. I think there's one that I'm really excited about. And then I have a announcement that's going to be going on during this trip that I'm super fucking excited about. It's kind of one of those dream come true moments. But we're gonna wait. I'm gonna get into that here in a second. But how's everybody doing tonight? I know it's middle of the week, hump day, Wednesday. But if I don't do it tonight, I'm not going to get a chance to. Um, the plan is tomorrow night I'm going to be. So I'm not leaving until Friday. I'm going to leave Friday morning, try to get there, late afternoon, early evening on Friday, because there's something going on Friday night. We'll talk about here in a little bit going on that's really looking forward to. I'm really excited about attending. So plans to leave on Friday. Tomorrow night, I'm going to see Depeche Mode, which is like a lifelong dream with my dad. My dad's a huge Depeche Mode fan, so we're going to be doing that tomorrow night. We're going to Nashville for that, so that's going to be a pretty good little trip for me coming from Evansville. Not too far; it's not Pittsburgh, but going to be doing that tomorrow night and then getting up Friday morning and heading to the event in Evans City. Probably going to stop in Pittsburgh on the way there. My usual, and I highly recommend this if for anybody traveling to check out Primanti Brothers in downtown Pittsburgh. I can't think of what street it's on, but go to the original Primanti Brothers. It's fucking amazing, and that's usually what I do as soon as I get into Pittsburgh because it's kind of on the way. The way that I come into Pittsburgh, you go through the Fort Pitt Tunnel, and then voila, there's the Holy Land. There's Pittsburgh. Um, so I usually stop in there and grab a sandwich and a couple Iron Cities and just kind of do the touristy thing and be like, oh, I'm in Pittsburgh, so I got to go to Primanti Brothers and drink at Iron City. So planning on doing that, and then like I said, Friday night, hopefully getting a chance to. So there's a screening going on Friday night. We'll talk about here in a second that I'm pretty excited about, pretty looking forward to. See, we got in the chat tonight. Will Phelps, hate that I had to cancel. You had to cancel, man. That sucks, man. That really sucks. I know you're a huge Not a Living Dead fan, and I was looking forward to meeting you. That really sucks, man. You're a Bowling Green guy, right? So, fellow Western Kentuckyer, Kentuckyer. I don't think that's the way it's. Fellow Western Kentuckian. That's man. I hate to hear that. I hope everything's okay. Um, let's see. Robert Dobbins in the house tonight. Totally excited. I am too, my man. Great first day of my vacation. Yeah, it's tomorrow is the first officially first day of my vacation. I'm gonna be running around. I may be by the time I get to Pittsburgh and to the event. I'm probably going to be zombified myself, so I'm going to be pretty worn down going from the concert and then making the trip because I'm driving. Plane tickets are just too fucking expensive anymore. To fly out of Evansville, I mean, I guess if I wanted to fly out of Louisville or something like that, it might be a little cheaper. Connection's doing okay. And I mentioned hotel, if the internet's decent at the hotel, I'll be staying at. So catch up here. I'm probably going to try to do some live, maybe a live stream or something from the event. And man, the internet at the hotel can't be any worse than this fucking internet I got here. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it holds out tonight. I'm looking into it. I don't know what the hell's going on with it, but I apologize again. Um, Hell yeah, man! Enjoy the song. That's one of my all-time favorite songs in Depeche Mode. I'm gonna flip out when they play that live. TCCK Films, what's up, my man or girl? I'm not sure if you're a man or a woman actually, but it's good to see you either way. Glad to have you in here. Will Phelps, yep, driver's license is expired. I can't get it renewed until Halloween. Damn, dude, you gotta keep up with these things. That sucks, man. I hate to hear that. Fucking driver's license. I'm really putting it off because I just moved to Indiana from Kentucky. I was living in Murray at the time, so I still have a Murray. My license still says Murray, Murray, Kentucky on it. So, and I'm just like putting off switching my license over, so I'm technically still from Kentucky. But if I don't do it sooner, there's in Indiana there's some kind of fucking crazy law that you have to take like a class and study and all this other shit. I'm like, dude, I've been driving for 30, not 30 years. I'm not that fucking old. 20 years at this point. But I was really dated myself there. Robert Dubbin, Southern Indiana. What part of Southern Indiana are you from, man? I'm in Evansville, Newburgh, like right outside of Evansville. I didn't know you were so close. Yeah, well, Bowling Green. Will Phelps, Bowling Green here. Maybe meet you next year at some point. Yeah, man, absolutely. I've spent had a lot of good times in Bowling Green. A good friend of mine used to live in Bowling Green. We used to go and party and hit up Tidballs. We used to go to Tidballs a lot, and down there, it's a college town, so there's all kinds of shit to do. Yeah, that's awesome. I know Bowling Green very well. The home of John Carpenter, the great John Carpenter. Zombie Grease in the house. What's up, my man? They canceled the zombie walk here. Nothing going for Halloween. Really sucks. That does suck. So this year it might be an all-night classic horror film, rum and coke night. That's one of the best ways to spend a Halloween, in my opinion. But that's fucking internet. Why'd they cancel the zombie walk though? That's interesting. And you actually don't able to see very many of those. Not around here, at least. I remember the first time they had a zombie walk at the 40th anniversary of Night of the Living Dead in Dallas, Texas, at the Texas Frightmare weekend, and I have footage of that somewhere. I got a bunch of old like DV tapes and shit with a lot of footage from that period. But yeah, it was huge. Of course, it was the 40th anniversary of Night of the Living Dead, and they had all the Day of the Dead people and Dawn of the Dead people there. It was one of the craziest conventions I've ever been to. So it was they had the zombie walk, and it was really interesting. And I always love George's takes on the zombie walks. He's just like, I don't understand. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, you come out here and you get all gooped up, and he's like, I'd never do that. That's just George never understood why people would want to be zombies in his films. I know he always talked about like Day of the Dead or like the extras that would just show up to be zombies in his films, and he was just like, I would never do that in a million years. Be standing out in the cold, with all that goop and makeup on you, like and the fake blood and all that. I'm just like, yeah, I would in a heartbeat. That would be a dream come true if I could be a zombie in a Romero film, but don't think that's ever gonna happen, unfortunately. TCCK Films. I'm a dude. You're a dude. She's a dude. We're all dudes. Okay, gotcha. Noted. I'm a dude. I like that response. Madison, okay. Let's see. On the Ohio, an hour from Louisville. Okay, so you're not. Yeah, that's not that far from me at all. I think I don't know if I've ever been through Madison. Maybe I have. Madison. I feel like I've driven through Madison before. Do they have like a really? If it's the town I'm thinking of, is there a like their downtown area? Is it really nice? I remember driving through a downtown area. I believe it was Madison, Indiana, and thinking like, oh, this would be just a great place to visit for a day because they have just a nice little quiet downtown area with a lot of stuff to do. I'm not sure if that's the same place I'm thinking of. Can't remember the name, but it was actually on a trip to Pittsburgh one time. I drove through there, I believe. See Zombie Grease. They do it every year. Walk to the Alamo at sundown. That's awesome. Construction canceled here. Fucking dude, don't get me started on construction. Evansville is just nothing but construction everywhere you go. I mean, it's embarrassingly bad. Um, but yeah. Anyways, a little bit of Romero news this week, and it kind of like, well, we saw it last year in 3D, but they just announced that Regal Theaters is doing another run of Dawn of the Dead in theaters. Um, it's the 2D version this time. It's not the 3D version, which I prefer. Like, actually, I would prefer to see Dawn of the Dead in the theater in 2D. Never seen it just 2D. Um, uh, so that would, and I liked it on 3D. Like, it was fine on 3D, but like I said, wearing the 3D glasses over my glasses, and something about 3D I've just never been a huge fan of. I think it was the time that I went to see Avatar in 3D, and then that whole, like, I guess after the movie, I don't know, something about, I guess, 3D or so, the way that my eyes perceive 3D or something. I was like just incredibly just sick, horrible headache, like it was the worst. So I've just never been a big fan of 3D ever since then. But they're playing Dawn of the Dead in 2D. Getting back to the fucking point, um, the 2D version of Dawn of the Dead in some theaters, Regal theaters around the country. I've looked; it's not playing anywhere close. I know. I did see that it's playing in Bowling Green. That may be a destination if I want to make the trip. I think it's only playing maybe a week or so here at the end of the month. Um, but I did see it was playing in Bowling Green. But that's pretty much the closest place that it's playing to me. It's not. I don't think it's as wide of a release as the 3D version was last year, but you know, if I have to drive an hour and a half to see Dawn of the Dead on the big screen in Bowling Green or whatever, like that's not something out of the realm for me to do. But yeah, check. I guess you can go to Regal website if you just Google Regal Theaters. There's actually a list there of all the theaters that it's playing at in every state. Um, so if that'd be an interesting way. Zombie Grease, if it's playing anywhere near you, that'd be a fun way to spend. I'm pretty sure it's playing on Halloween night. That would be awesome just to see it on Halloween night. Um, but let's see, Robert Dobbins, come on vacation, leave on probation. That's Matt. Come on vacation, leave on probation. That's Masney as a tourist town. Awesome, yeah. That I definitely remember that town. It's really really nice. It's got a really really nice downtown area. Um, and I feel like if that's the same town I'm thinking of, there's like a big ass like hotel on a hill. I remember like driving through there and just seeing this big ass hotel on a hill or something, and it's nothing out of the ordinary. It was just kind of striking, something memorable. Um, but uh, but yeah, so plan is for my weekend, like I said, Depeche Mode tomorrow night in Nashville with my dad, and then leaving Friday morning. Planning on getting to the event. Um, there's there's uh, there's an event going on Friday night that I'm hoping to make. They actually announced that they're going to be having a screening of There's Always Vanilla um, at the convention. Then the convention, it's not a convention center. It's called a Steam Fitters Event Center. It's a brand new facility, and I've never been. This is actually the first time I've ever been to one of the Living Dead weekends in Evans City, so I'm pretty excited about that. I've been to the Monroeville one 3 times now, so I kind of know what to expect there when I'm going. So I'm pretty, um, pretty familiar with it. So this is going to be a completely new experience for me. I'm curious to see, what the setup looks like, and from the photos that I've seen, we'll look at some here in a little bit. The actual event center looks really, really nice. I mean, like I said, it's a brand new area. Um, so that's pretty exciting. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting to see, uh, you know, kind of experience. I'm really just excited to experience, that Pittsburgh and Evans City and the cemetery and all that in the fall. Only times I've ever been to Pittsburgh were in the summertime, so this is going to be. I'm excited. It's going to be a different kind of trip for me. But so yeah, then Saturday, spend a lot of time. I'm probably going to go check out a few locations, try to track down some locations that I haven't been to before. Um, I definitely need to go see the Fluffy mural. There's an actual mural of Fluffy from Creepshow in like the downtown Pittsburgh area. I'm not sure the address right offhand, but might try to swing by and check that out at some point Saturday. Definitely got to go by the mall at some point. Um, check out the Living Dead Museum. I just like going in there and just looking around. Like, I've been to that museum twice now, but I'll still pay for a ticket just to go walk around and look at the shit again. Like, I've already seen it like a couple of times now, but I'll go check it out again because, what the hell. And then Sunday, I know there's like or Saturday night, there's actually a screening. They're going to be doing a screening of Night of the Living Dead. That we'll get into the details here in just a second. So plan on checking that out. And then Sunday is going to be, more convention, more locations. And then I'm planning on leaving Monday. But this week I actually got some pretty awesome news, some pretty exciting news. Last minute, like, I was just kind of thinking, like, this is going to be my fourth trip to Pittsburgh. And, I've visited locations, and I've been to, the mall and the cemetery and everything. And, I'm pretty familiar with those locations and stuff now. So what can I do different? What would be something different? I was just thinking, I was like, I wonder if I could get in to check out the Romero archive at the University of Pittsburgh, which at the University of Pittsburgh, they have the entire George Romero archive. And I mean, there's a list of all the stuff that they have online on the actual website. And it's just a huge collection of everything that I think was donated by, it's all George's stuff, donated by Suze Romero, Peter Grunwald, and I can't think of who the third person is who donated a lot of this stuff. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I just read it the other night. But anyway, at this archive, there's like, unproduced scripts, props, marketing materials, advertising, letters and stuff, communications between him and Richard Rubenstein. And there's treatments, like the original treatment for Dawn of the Dead that he wrote in the early 70s, the original screenplay for Martin, tons and tons and tons of stuff. So I reached out to the Romero archive. The guy who runs it, his name's Ben. Reached out to him, sent him an email and saying, look, I know it's short notice. I'm sure you guys have a lot going on this weekend because it's, Living Dead weekend. I'm sure there's a lot of people coming in. But I just figured I'd shoot my shot and see would it be possible if I could, come in and visit the archive and just kind of look through a lot of the Romero's collectible screenplays and all kind of, just all this stuff that just like in my mind right now, just thinking about it, I don't know how I'm going to react. I'm just going to be like frozen. So yeah, I emailed him. He emailed me back immediately, and he's just the coolest guy. Very helpful. Told me step by step what I needed to do. Create an account and submit, and let me know a date. And I think we've nailed down. So Monday morning at 9 a.m., I'm going to be visiting the George A. Romero archive at the University of Pittsburgh. So basically, the way it works when you sign up for an appointment to go down and visit, you'll basically go through the list of all the things that they have in the archive and kind of pick what you want to look at. I figured it would be a little unrealistic if I just hit select all and submitted it. So I tried, and then of course I went back and forth in my head, just kind of like, okay, so I've never done anything like this before. I'm not. So what's a reasonable amount of shit that I can look at without coming off as a complete lunatic? So I came up with like 17 different collections, or whatever you want to call them, mostly from Martin and Dawn, that I'm going to be looking at, like the original Dawn of the Dead treatment that George wrote, the original Dawn screenplay, I believe, the original Martin screenplay, and just like there's like some random little tidbits here and there, some like ideas, unfinished ideas. I'm going to be looking at the Twilight of the Dead original. I don't know if it's got the screenplay or just like a basic idea of what it is. There's all kinds of stuff in that archive. So I narrowed it down to about 15, 20, somewhere in between there. different things that I'm going to be perusing and looking at. Um, so got it nailed down. Going to be doing that Monday. So I'm going to do that Monday morning, and then after that, I'm just going to drive back. Just drive straight home, 8 hours on fucking cloud nine, probably just wondering what the hell just happened. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely going to be hopping on here and kind of reporting, some findings and different things that I come across in these archives. I'm super super excited. I'm planning on going back when they have the Martin 2.5 hour black and white cut, like digitized and available for viewing. That's no doubt. I'm going to be going back for that. Um, so yeah, that's super super exciting. So this trip just went from a 10 to an 11 for me. So I'm very very excited. I'm going to be worn out because I'm going back to work, going right back to work Tuesday after. So when I get home, I'm just gonna Tuesday is gonna be rough. Um, so yeah, I'm so so excited about that. Zombie Grease, I've been wanting to do the same for reasons unknown. Robert De Niro left his collection to UT Austin. Definitely want to check that out. That is interesting. I would love to see that. Um, I wonder why he left it to UT Austin. I wonder if it was like I don't know. I don't know if he's ever done anything with that university. But yeah, that would be really really cool. Um, let's see, Robert Dobbins. I've fallen in love with Night Riders lately. I saw it for the first time and was blown away. You just saw Night Riders for the first time. Yeah, Night Riders is that's one of my. It's probably my top five favorite Romero films. Um, I love Night Riders every time I watch it. Like it's a little long, but to me it works. I don't feel. I mean, maybe you could cut something out here and there to kind of shorten it a little bit, maybe for a modern audience. But I could sit there and watch. I mean, just some of the stunts are incredible. The performances in it are amazing. I mean, that's Tom Savini's best performance by far. Anything he's ever done. Um, I could go on and on about Night Riders. I absolutely love Night Riders, but I'm glad you loved it as well. Um, it is one of those. It's just kind of hard to track down. It took me forever to finally track down and watch Night Riders. So glad you finally got a chance to check it out. And of course, Ed Harris. You can't go wrong with Ed Harris. Still on the air here. You would think that I live out in the middle of the sticks or something. Like I'm just out in the boonies with this. I'll quit bitching about it. I'm sure you guys are. It's like, fuck this. All right. So we'll get into. We'll start looking. I'm going to do a screen share here of the Living Dead Weekend website. It's livingdeadweekend.com. It's got all the information. You can check it out. But we'll go through it step by step here together and kind of get everybody primed and ready for it because it's the 55th anniversary of Night of the Living Dead. I mean, and probably the last time that we'll see a reunion quite this size for Night of the Living Dead. I mean, like I said, it's the 55th year anniversary. I do believe that I've heard through the grapevine that this is probably going to be Russ Striner's last convention appearance. That may change. I mean, we may see him a month from now at Halloween Fest or whatever the fuck you want to call it, whatever conventions out there. But that's just what I've heard through the grapevine, and of course, this is going to be the last Living Dead weekend in Evans City. So it'll be kind of the last Living Dead weekend that's strictly like Night of the Living Dead based. Um, so some agrees. I think he did it because of the film program and its reputation. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, Jesus, Austin. I mean, how many great filmmakers came out of Austin? I mean, Toby Hooper, Richard Linklater, wasn't he Austin? Yeah, I mean, Austin just churned out great filmmakers. Um, oh God, Robert Dobbins, almost as good as Two Evil Eyes. Almost. Hey man, I'm not gonna hate on you for liking Two Evil Eyes, but just ain't for me. All right. So yeah, let me screen share this. Let me bring this in here, and we'll go through it with a fine tooth comb, step by step, of what to expect, what to look forward to, what's going on with. And there's I think I saw quite a few photo ops too are going to be available actually in the cemetery, in some of the actual locations. So that's, I mean, you cannot beat that. I mean, you look at some of these other conventions. I mean, the bigger conventions. You know, I know Scarefest is this weekend. I was thinking about going to that, but I was like, I'm just going to make the trip to Pittsburgh. Like that's where it's a farther trip, but I'd rather do that. I think. But you look at the Scarefest, the Horror Hounds, you know the big conventions, and you got photo ops on there of Robert England or something, and he's not even in Freddy costume or anything like that. He may wear the glove and the hat or something, and it's taken in front of just like a sheet or something, and it's like, oh, $200 for a photo op with Robert England in front of a drapery behind, and it's just like, it's cool, I guess, to get a picture with Robert England, but not. I would never in a million years pay $200. So imagine getting a chance to take a picture with Robert England in the fucking boiler room from Nightmare on Elm Street, or something like that. So that you get a chance to do that at Evans City Living Dead weekend. I think there's one with Russ Striner and Judith O'Day in the cemetery. I don't know. Let me pull it up here. I'm just talking on my ass right now. I don't know for sure. We'll get the facts here, folks. Just the facts. All right. Let me see. Share screen. All right. Let's see if this works. Hopefully my internet can handle 2 screens at once. Let's see what we got. Coming up. There we go. All right, I think this is working. I think we're good right now. We'll see how this goes. All right. They won't stay dead. What do you guys think about that tagline? I just thought it was just the idea alone back in '68 probably blew people away. The idea of the dead coming back to life. But, they won't stay dead. Living Dead Weekend, Evans City. So let's go ahead and scroll down. Look at this. See, 20th to 22nd. Yeah, and if you don't have your tickets yet, you can go to the website here. It's livingdeadweekend.com /Evans City, Evans-City. You can get your tickets there through that link. So now Living Dead 55th anniversary, October 20th through the 22nd, 2023. It's Steam Fitters Convention Center is what it's called, in Harmony, Pennsylvania. Harmony, Pennsylvania is, I think, right down the road from Evans City, so it's basically the same thing. So yeah, let's see what we got here. Of course, Judith O'Day, Kyra Schoen, Russ Striner, Judith Ridley. Probably going to stop by all of their table. I don't know how many more conventions Judith O'Day, Judy Ridley, and Kyra Schoen really feel like doing at this point. I've never met Kyra Schoen, and I've never met Judy Ridley. So those are the 2 that I'm heading to first. Because I have an 11x17 poster that I got signed. I started getting signatures on it back in 2008 at the 40th anniversary, and I got George. I got I got Russ Striner. I got Bill Heinzman, John Russo, George Casana, who's no longer with us. I got Gary Striner already. So the 2 main names that are missing, of course, that are still with us are Kyra Schoen and Judy Ridley. So those are my first 2 stops, I believe. So let's get down here to the guest list, and of course Judith O'Day. I remember meeting her in 2008, and she was just the nicest woman. She will not disappoint. That's 100% sure. Because I remember in 2008, and of course this is 2008, so like we didn't have iPhone cameras and shit at the time, but you could still like take a little picture with your your phone. They weren't the best pictures. I think we had a camera though at the time, one of those little digital cameras. But I met Judith O'Day. Signed some stuff, and I took a picture with her. And I got back to the room that night, and I realized that the picture just didn't turn out too good. I forget what happened to it. I don't remember if it was just blurry or if I looked like a goof in it or something. But just didn't turn out well. So I went back the next day, and she was there. And I walked up to her, and it was the weirdest thing, because I remember my cousin pointed it out. It made me feel special for a second. my cousin pointed it out. He was like, well, when we walked up to the table, I said, Miss O'Day, and she said, oh, hi, Michael. She remembered my fucking name from the day before. And I was just like, shit, you remember my name? Super, super cool. And I asked her, I was, the picture we took yesterday didn't turn out well. Can I get another one? She was like, oh, absolutely. Come around. We took another picture. It turned out great. So, yeah, that's sweetest woman in the world. Kyra Schoen, like I said, never met her before. Haven't heard anything bad. So definitely looking forward to finally meeting Miss Karen Cooper herself, and of course Judith Ridley. I'm very excited about meeting Judy Ridley, not just for Night of the Living Dead, but I absolutely love her. And There's Always Vanilla. Um, I think that was her last acting role. I think she just kind of decided that wasn't for her. I know she ended up marrying Russell Striner before or after that. I think it was around that time. I can't remember if it was before or after, but um, and I guess she just kind of said acting wasn't for me. But I absolutely love her. There's Always Vanilla, and I have that 8x10 behind the scenes still that I found on eBay. I might take and show and see if I can jar any memories from that. I'd go get it, but I'd have to pull it off my wall at this point. I'm not gonna do that. Excuse me. And I'm very looking forward to that screening. Just saying, There's Always Vanilla with a crowd. That'll be an interesting screening because I did see, you mentioned, Robert mentioned Night Riders a minute ago. I did see Night Riders earlier this year at the Living Dead weekend with a crowd. They played that, and that was fun. Then I also saw Martin as well at the University of Pittsburgh. They were playing it. Tony Boo Boo was showing it. So anyway, so I'm looking forward to that very, very much. Gary Striner, another guy. And that's the thing too. It's the interesting thing about meeting people from Night of the Living Dead that I've noticed is that pretty much everyone that you meet is super, super nice. They're super gracious. They're just most of them cannot believe that this little film that they banded together and made in Pittsburgh in the late 60s, a black and white film, no budget, 55 years later, there's still people like me traveling, 8 or 9 hours, just to see them, shake their hand, get an autograph, and say, thank you so much for, what you guys did and changing the landscape of independent cinema and horror cinema. And I try to put myself into their shoes sometimes and think like, there's no way they could have imagined anything like it. That 55 years later, we'd still be doing this. But Gary's super cool. I mean, he's the nicest guy. Great, tons of stories. He'll talk to you. He'll answer any questions you got. I mean, he's just the absolutely coolest. Russ Striner, another super cool guy. Always, never hesitates if you ask him to do of course, the great line. They're coming to get you, Barbara. Still got it. He's still, loves it, loves it. John Russo, of course. And of course, John Russo. I mean, shit, there's all kinds of shit you can bring to get John Russo to sign. And John's a nice guy. I met John back in 2008. Of course, there's always the kind of running gag that John's kind of a carny. He is a little bit, but I mean he's a businessman. So that's the way you can look at it. He's a businessman. He's there to sell. And he's very prolific in the stuff that it's pretty amazing the films that he was able to get made, the books that he was able to write and publish. The guys, John Russo. I mean, say what you want, the guy has had a hell of a career in the film industry. I mean, are his films the greatest? I've only seen a handful of them. And I can't say I've liked the ones that I've seen, but I have heard good things about Midnight. I do still need to see that. Um, but yeah, I mean, John Russo, I mean, just legend of a guy. And I don't think Night of the Living Dead would be, I mean, George gets a lot of the credit because he was the director and he co-wrote the film and went on to, have, one of the greatest careers of any independent filmmaker ever. But I don't, I say this about John Russo, but I mean, you can put everybody on here in this category. I mean, to me, Night of the Living Dead, like I said, was a collective effort. Like it's just as much Russ Streiner's film to me. It's just as much John Russo's film to me. Um, so I mean, these are very important people in the history of not just horror film, but independent film. Um, so then we get down here to some of the ghouls that are going to be attending. Terry Gindel. Is it Gindel or Gindel? Never met him before. That's a new one for me. Paula Richards. She was just recently at the Living Dead weekend um, in Monroeville. So I saw her. She'll be there. Rick Catazone's going to be there. Now that's a guy who has a hell of a resume. I mean, just the graphics and animations alone for Creepshow. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, when you look at his credits here, like Evil Dead 2, The Crazies, but he also did, the animation, the title animation, the title sequence animation for, or not the title, but the credit sequence animation. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Not even animation, but you know what the fuck I'm saying. At the end of Night of the Living Dead. Just rambling now. Take a break. But that's one I've never met either. I've never met Rick Catazone before. Miss Ella Mae Smith's going to be there. Of course, she played a zombie in Night of the Living Dead, obviously, but I loved her in the One for the Fire documentary that was included on the. It may still be on some of the. I think it's actually on the Criterion as well, but it was originally on that Night of the Living Dead 40th anniversary DVD. She had like a small little part in that documentary, One for the Fire, and that's what I remember her for the most, honestly. You know, you could see her in the film as a zombie, but just listening to her stories and just the fact that she still to this day just absolutely plays into it and loves the fact that she was a ghoul in Night of the Living Dead. Now this one I am super excited about meeting. This is definitely on the list of people that I'd like to get a signature for is Ken Peters. Of course, played a ghoul in Night of the Living Dead, but was also in There's Always Vanilla, and he was in Season of the Witch. I love his character in Season of the Witch. He's like this real estate agent in the at the beginning of the film. Jan White's character's having this nightmare where she's going through. It's like I don't know how to describe the nightmare, but it's like a psychedelic like nightmare. But anyway, she's sitting in this house, and Ken Peters is playing this character. If you haven't seen Season of the Witch, but he's playing this character as like a real estate agent. He's going through like where everything is, and it's like, et cetera, et cetera. And here's so and so to give you ideas if you should happen to run out of ideas. Just I love that character. Just a small role in it, but I thought he did so good in it. I'm very excited to finally get to meet him. I think he was at the event last year, but I didn't get a chance to go last year. So, and then Dick Heckard, who is did play a ghoul, but he played one of the posse members. I'm sure you remember. Here you can see the photo with the cowboy hat. So yeah, I mean it's a Night of the Living Dead centric show. I mean we're celebrating the 55th year anniversary. This is probably going to be the last cast and crew reunion that there may ever be. I don't know. Maybe somewhere down the line they can get these guys back together. But I think this is if you've ever wanted to meet any of these people, if you've ever wanted to visit Pittsburgh, if you've ever wanted to visit Evans City, go to the locations and just immerse yourself in Romero culture, because there's something, I've said it before, when you get to Pittsburgh, like when you're in the city of Pittsburgh, you can feel George in the air. Like there's something about it. It's like if you've seen his films, if you grew up on his films, if you've watched his films as much as I have, and I'm sure you guys have as well. Everything, like even though, like I remember the first time I was in Pittsburgh, it's like I'd never been there, but everything felt familiar somehow. It's hard to describe, but everything felt familiar. Like you could see, like, oh, this. You could just be standing in a part of Pittsburgh and feel like, oh, I feel like I'm in There's Always Vanilla right now. Or, you're standing Evans City Cemetery. I mean, Jesus Christ. You can stand in Evans City Cemetery. You feel like you're in Night of the Living Dead because I mean, while the mall in Monroeville, uh, you know, to me, standing in that mall, I mean, it was an overwhelming experience. But um, I'm sure for a lot of people in the mall, it's changed so much. They've modernized it so much that the bones are still there, but it doesn't feel like the mall from Dawn of the Dead for a lot of people. But Evans City Cemetery, I mean, the cemetery, it's a cemetery. It doesn't change very much over the years. It may get bigger, but it still looks pretty much exactly as it did 55 years ago when they shot the film. It's pretty incredible. Um, so yeah, this is forgetting what the point was. I just started rambling, but it's a perfect opportunity to visit and check all this out. Let me try to catch up here on some of these comments here. Let's see, where was I? Right here, Robert Dobbins. Check out Morgan Stewart's Coming Home with John Cryer. He's obsessed with George in the film. Interesting. I've never heard of that. Goes to get his autograph on The Zombies That Ate Pittsburgh. It's a comedy, but George is in it. I have to write that down. I'm gonna check that out. I've never heard of that. It's got John Cryer. That's interesting. Morgan Stewart's Coming Home. I'll try to remember that. I've never heard of that. It's pretty amazing. Zombie Grease. Russo is a funny guy. Definitely all about the money with him. Yeah, I mean Russo. I mean the man. He's a mover and a shaker. The term carny, I guess, could probably have some negative connotations to it, but that's kind of the category I put him in. Um, but he's a super nice guy. I remember when I met him. I mean, you know, I told him I was from. He was like, where'd you guys come from? And he was like, oh yeah, we drove down from Kentucky. He was like, oh, and the only thing he could equate with Kentucky was Louisville baseball bats for some reason. So he started asking me about baseball and baseball bats. I don't know, but funny man. Let's see if you have Shutter, check out the new season of Creepshow. One of the episodes is all about Romero. I definitely have checked that out. I've heard about the that episode from the new season of Creepshow. Um, I don't know very much about it. I don't know like plot wise or what happens, but I've heard like the basic concept of it, and yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. That's a show I need to really go back, which I'm going to be doing. See, TV shows. I'm a film guy. Like there are very few TV shows that I can just watch and get immersed in and watch every episode from every season. Um, The Sopranos is one, Breaking Bad, um, The Office. I mean, there's been some. Um, I'm just really bad about watching TV, so I've actually never seen the Tales from the Dark Side series. So I'm going to be watching that. I'm going to be doing a live watch along of Trick or Treat for season one, episode one, the episode written by George Romero. Going to be watching that on Halloween night. Going to be doing a live watch along on here with you fine folks, and then I'm going to be watching other episodes. I'm going to try to get through the entire series and kind of do reviews every couple of episodes or so. But that's Halloween and in the future. But that Creepshow series, I've watched quite a few episodes of it. I haven't seen them all. It's kind of one of those series that when I hear something good or if there's something that I really want to check out, I'll seek it out because I do have Shutter. But I'll seek them out and watch them. Like I know the one. I think there was an episode. I believe it was last season with Justin Long in it, where he has like this device where he can transport into his favorite films and Night of the Living Dead. I think Night of the Living Dead was like one that he accidentally got transported into or something like that. But when I hear stuff like that, I have to check it out. So yeah, I'm definitely going to check out that episode of the new season of Creepshow because yeah, it sounds like something that would be right up my alley. Uh, Will Phelps feels like home. It really does. There's something. It's so strange because it's like even being like in Monroeville, like just driving around Monroeville, like something about the houses and just the layout and just the way it is. It's a very comforting place for me. Um, but yeah, I love Pittsburgh and the whole area. So looking forward to being back. Let's see, it's called George Romero in 3D. Okay, that's the episode of the name of the Creep Show episode. Okay, I'll definitely check that. I'm gonna have to start writing all this shit down that I need to watch. See, like modern technology, I would just use my phone and like make a note, but I'm still like a paper and pen kind of guy. Unfortunately, I don't have paper handy. So, what was the Morgan Stewart's Coming Home? Gotta check that. That sounds very, very interesting. Coming Home, and then the Creep Show, George Romero in 3D. This is very compelling content. I know I'm making as I write down random shit. But yeah, I'll definitely check those out. I'm not sure where that Morgan Stewart's Coming Home is. That on streaming anywhere? Because I have never heard of that. It seems like something I would have at least heard of. But now that you mention, I'm gonna have to definitely check that out. But okay, let's get back to the website here. Let's check out. There's the cast and crew members that'll be there. Very possibly from the last time. Like I said, I know I've heard rumbles that this is Russ Schreiner's last convention appearance. So not sure. I'm not sure what his health situation is at this point. I did see. I think he was at a convention a couple weeks ago, and I did see that he was in a wheelchair now at this point. So we hope he's doing okay. But like I said, man, these people are not going to be around forever. We just lost Nikki Tallow too not too long ago. It's a. I'm gonna try to bring up the energy here. I feel very sad. So let's see. So yeah, Living Dead Weekend brought to you by Living Dead Museum. Definitely, if you're coming into the event, I highly recommend just going to the mall itself and seeing the mall if you've never seen it. And B, check out the Living Dead Museum because it's incredible. Some of the stuff that they have in there on display. I mean, it's where I think it's like $10. You can walk around in there and then just look at all the stuff that they have. And then of course they have stuff for sale, shirts, hoodies, autographs, 8x10s, posters. I mean, it's it's the dream store for any Romero fan. So yeah, definitely highly recommend checking out the Living Dead Museum. Just some general information here. So yeah, Steam Fitters Event Center, 232 Y Street, Harmony, Pennsylvania. That's your address. Let's see. This is just a general over. So yeah, here we go. We're going to get into some of the other events happening here. So I guess it's going to be Saturday night, 7 p.m. They're going to be doing a 55th anniversary presentation of Night of the Living Dead. They're calling it Unseen Night. Let's see. I'll just read it off here for you. With Unseen Night, John, I think that's supposed to be Scolari, not Solari, but Unseen Night, John Scolari and Jim Cirinella will reveal rare and never before seen images from Night of the Living Dead. That's exciting. And if there's two guys that would have that, I mean, it would be Jim Cirinella and John Scolari. I mean, they're kind of the night they used to do. If you check out on YouTube, there's a channel called the Image 10. I think is what if you just type in Image 10, I think it'll pop up. But they used to do quite a few Night of the Living Dead based. I don't think they've done one in quite a while, but I used to watch them when they did them, where they would just really dig into like the minutia of Night of the Living Dead. And of course, John Scolari was on the channel for the live auction. He ended up purchasing quite a bit of stuff from me. And Jim Cirinella I've met once before in Cincinnati. He was there with Mike Gornick and John Amplis and Daryl Ferrucci, and didn't have very nice things to say about Richard Rubenstein. I'll say that. But yeah, that's really exciting. I'm highly looking forward to that. So yeah, I guess that starts at 7. That's when they'll do the presentation of like the unseen, like the rare and never before seen behind the scenes photos. And then let's see, followed by a screening of the film at 8 p.m. Refreshments will be included. So I did get to see Night of the Living Dead. It was an old 35 millimeter print of Night of the Living Dead back at the 40th anniversary in Dallas. Um, and you know, that will not be topped just because I was in a theater sitting there watching it. Like literally, Tom Savini was maybe, you know, you know, I was sitting here on the edge of the aisle, and Tom was like 2 rows down, and I could just. It was a weird experience because I'm sitting there watching Night of the Living Dead, and I'd never been to any like convention or anything before, and this is the first time just like being immersed and seeing all these people that I'd been watching and years and years and years. I mean, George was there, Malcolm McDowell was there, Tom was there, the entire cast of Night of the Living Dead was there. It was pretty incredible. But so it's just a unreal experience. Sitting there, I'm watching the film. It's on. It was a rough print, but I mean, it was just awesome seeing 35 millimeter print of Night of the Living Dead in the theater with all these people. And I'm sitting there watching the film, and it was the first time I had seen Night of the Living Dead on the big screen, and B, I would just glance down every now and then and just, holy shit, there's Tom Savini. Oh yeah, I love this scene. That's fucking Tom Savini. Like I just kept looking over at Tom, like seeing his reactions to things. I'd be like, okay, oh, what did Tom think of this? Oh, what did Tom think of that? And Tom, man, like George got up. I mean, I think 10 minutes into the film, George got up and just kind of left because he's mentioned before it's hard for him to go back and watch Night of the Living Dead. Just all he sees are the flaws and shit. Which, if you're a filmmaker of any kind or a creative type of any kind, um, you can definitely identify with that because you never want the project to be finished because there's always something else that you can do. It's like, oh, I have an idea that could make this even better. I could make this even better, and at some point you gotta let it go. But so yeah, like George left, and I think Malcolm McDowell stayed, but he was farther and farther away. But the whole time the film was going on, like Tom was just like a little kid. He was just sitting there, just like glued to the screen. Eyes never left the screen. He was just enjoying every fucking second of it, which kind of made it even more heartbreaking when I actually met Tom Savini at the actual convention the next day, and he was kind of a dick. But that's the thing about Tom Savini. It's like outside of the convention setting, from everything I've ever heard, he's a pretty fucking cool guy. But in a convention, if you're paying him for a signature, like 9 times out of 10, he's gonna come across just kind of like, here you go, good luck. So I don't know, what it is, but it was just an amazing experience seeing that sitting there pretty much right next to Tom Savini watching Night of the Living Dead on the big screen. Um, let's see, admission is included in all VIP prices. So if you have VIP tickets, then you have free admission into it. But outside of that, if you're just going, you just have like a weekend pass or Saturday night pass, or Saturday pass, whatever. I think it's $10 a ticket, and that includes the whole evening show and refreshments. I mean, $10, that's to go see any movie these days. Um, so yeah, this is basically the same thing here, all the same information. So yeah, that's Saturday night, and then here Friday night is going to be a screening of There's Always Vanilla. They're calling it the There's Always Vanilla ice cream social and film screening. I like the creativity. I do. Incorporating, the vanilla ice cream, the great line, the great bit of dialogue at the end from Roger McGovern when he's like, you go to Baskin Robbins and they have 31 flavors, and you never know what to choose from. You can have, Rocky Road, you can have this, and you can have that, but at the end of the day, there's always vanilla. That's one of my favorite bits, bit of dialogue in any of Romero's films. And that wasn't even written by George, so that was a Rudy Ritchie special. But so yeah, they're incorporating the whole ice cream thing into the screening. So fucking I love ice cream. Who the hell doesn't love ice cream? Um, so I'm excited as hell for this. Like, seeing There's Always Vanilla on the big screen. It's going to be really cool. Seeing it with a crowd, because I've watched There's Always Vanilla like I think the only people I've ever watched, because it's one of those films that's like you're not really gonna sit your buddies down and be like, "Hey guys, you want to you want to drink and watch There's Always Vanilla tonight?" No, you don't really do that. Um, unless you're playing like a drinking game or something, maybe. But the only people I've ever really shown that movie to are my fiance and her mom. Actually, she was just like, "I'm gonna pop in There's Always Vanilla," because why the hell not? Um, So yeah, it'll be interesting seeing it with a crowd. That's one of my favorite things about watching any of these films with a crowd in a theater with people. Is trying to pick out like, okay, who hasn't seen this before? How are they reacting? Are they, and just kind of getting a feel for the general feeling on the movie. So I'm really looking forward to this. I can't tell you. And there's a fucking ice cream and a toppings bar. That's Friday at 9 p.m. at the in the actual event center. Both of these are being shown at the actual event center. Um, and there's going to be cast introduction. So I'm guessing we'll see obviously Judith Ridley, Russ Striner. I mean, he has a small role, and There's Always Vanilla. John Russo has a small role, and There's Always Vanilla. Ken Peters has a small role, and There's Always Vanilla. So who knows? It may just be Judith Ridley, and if that's the case, then I'm totally fine with that. Um, but yeah, that's super exciting. That's Friday night at 9 p.m. in the event center, and of course this one as well, $10, free if you have VIP passes, $10 without. Includes and that includes both the movie and the ice cream. So, let's see, celebrity photo ops. So let's check out. I don't know if they list them here. I think you have to go to the actual tickets thing to actually list, the different types of photo ops that you can get. So yeah, various pro photo ops available to choose from. Let's see, photos taken at the event center, as well as some Russ and Judith ops at the Evans City Cemetery. We were talking about that earlier. Good for up to 4 people. Themed props will be available, so that's pretty cool. And knowing some of the people that are going to be there, they were probably going to be actual props from the fucking movie. So yeah, let's see what. Let me click on this here and see what photo ops they have available. Uh, Scroll. So here's the actual. I guess we can go ahead and go through this. Here's the actual schedule. So I guess it opens Friday at 3 for VIP, 4 for general admission. The film screening at 9. Of course, this says still TBA, but we know There's Always Vanilla. So yeah, basically from 4 to 9, vendor and celebrity rooms are open with panels and programs. So let's see, 10 a.m. on Saturday it'll be open for VIP, 11 general admission. That's good to know. And then it goes until 6, and then 7 to 8 is the 55th anniversary presentation, and then 8 to 9:30 is the film screening, and then Sunday, which we haven't even got to this, at noon there's going to be a meet and greet brunch at the Evans City Cemetery, VIP only. That's interesting. We'll talk about that here in a second. We'll get to it. And then there's going to be the cemetery photo ops from noon to 12:30. There's actually Night of Living Dead locations tour with Larry DeVincent, who does the amazing job at the Living Dead Weekend in Monroeville doing the mall tours. I've taken that tour twice. Best in the business, if you ask me. The noon general admission, noon to 5 vendor and celebrity room, and then after that, unfortunately, that will be the end of the weekend. So where are these damn photo ops? I'm trying to just look at the damn photo ops here. Let me see if I can just go to get tickets. I guess you can buy tickets here. So the VIP pass, $150. Weekend pass, 40. Friday, 15. Saturday, 25. And then Sunday, I believe, is 15. Yeah. Let's see. With Larry DeVincent, it's going to be $50. Okay, here we go. Photo ops. So we got the main cast photo op with Judith O'Dea, Judith Ridley, Russ Striner, and Kyra Schoen. That's $120. I think this one's going to be done at the actual event center. Let's see, $160 with all cast members, all 12 of them. That's pretty crazy. So Judith O'Dea and Russ Striner duo photo op, $80. So $80 for Barbara and Johnny. I don't know. Is that the one? No, they're going to be doing that on Saturday. So I guess that's just for if you just want a regular photo op with Barbara and Johnny. Then a photo op, $60 with just Russ Striner, $60 for just Judith O'Day, $60 for just Judith Ridley, 60 for Kyra Schoen, so $60 a piece basically. Here's the cool one: photo op in the cemetery with Russ Striner and Judith O'Day, $80. That's not a bad deal, honestly, to get a photo. Because if you were just getting the photo op at the event center on that Saturday, let's say you're just getting Russ Striner or one or both. I mean, if you get both of them there, I mean individually, it's $120. This one you're actually in the cemetery with both for $80. I mean, that's a steal if you ask me. Then here's one if you want to photo up with Judith O'Day at the actual tombstone, the famous tombstone that's there in the cemetery. That's 60. I was gonna see if they were gonna do one with Russ Striner and the tombstone that did him in the end. That'd be pretty funny. So yeah, those are your photo ops. I'm not typically a huge photo op guy, so I don't know. Although I'm telling you the cemetery one with Russ and Judy, that's very tempting because that's literally a once in a lifetime, opportunity there. So let me try to back out here. We'll go back, check out the rest of the events. Let's see. There's your photo op. So yeah. Let's see. Let me check. See if I got. Right. Oh yeah, we got some more comments here. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Robert Dobbins obsessed with horror, but goes to get George's autograph at the Monroe Film Hall. Dude, you're making. I may try to track this down after we get off here tonight. So you're selling me on it. I don't think I can sit through There's Always Vanilla. I was hoping it would be a better film. And hey, yeah, it's not for some people. George doesn't like it, so you're in good company. George was not a fan of that film either. George always said that it was a film that he edited more so than directed because he didn't write it either. So you're not alone. You're in good company because it's you and George on that one. So, so you've never seen it, but it's not my style, I guess. I'm not sure. Are you talking about? I don't know what film were you mentioning there. We got a special guest in here, WGN TV. I believe this is the man himself that I was talking about earlier, Larry DeVincent, the tour guide for the events. He says I will be hosting a panel on the 50th anniversary of the Crazies. That's a good point. I was really expecting, really hoping for maybe some kind of maybe a couple of guests from the Crazies or something, maybe a Lynn Lowry or something like that. Because this is the 50th anniversary of the Crazies, so that's exciting. I'll definitely be checking that out. Hosting a panel on the 50th anniversary of Crazies. Let's see, and Larry says he'll be doing a Q&A discussion for the 50th anniversary of the Crazies. Okay, so it'll be Q&A. Awesome. And yes, that's me. I'll be hosting the Night of the Living Dead 55th anniversary tour after the brunch. And thanks for the compliments. Absolutely, man. If you're still in here. Yeah, that's Larry. I mean, he's major domo. No, that's he knows everything there is to know about these films, and I feel like I know a bunch of shit about Romero and these films, but I mean, he's the man right here. So good to have you in here, man. I'm glad you could hop on here and show. I'm excited. I didn't know that you were doing the panel for the Crazies, so I'm pretty excited about that. The Crazies is definitely up there, one of my favorite Romero films. But definitely good to see you, man. Good to see you in here. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the event as well. So you're talking about Vanilla. I've never seen it. I would check it out, man. I'd love to get your opinion on it. And it's definitely the best time to see it is now because you can actually track it down now. For years, nobody could really find that movie. And it's actually the best. The Arrow Blu-ray that they released, you can actually find that. I think you can find it on eBay or Amazon for 15, maybe $20 at the most. You can probably find it cheaper used on eBay or something like that if you just want to check it out. And I actually think it's streaming maybe streaming on Amazon, or I think I've seen it on Amazon. Anyway, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of There's Always Vanilla. I think there's like I mentioned, George was not a huge fan of the film, just because he didn't never felt like it was really his, and in a way, it really wasn't. I mean, it was written by Rudy Ritchie. Um, uh, you know, it really was basically just a film that George was a director in name only, and really more of an editor for that film. So he really didn't have much of a personal connection to that film, I don't think. But it's really good. The performances, I think Ray Lane does an amazing job. Of course, for Ray Lane from Season of the Witch. I don't know if you've seen Season of the Witch. I would check that out as well. Um, Ray Lane's fantastic in it. I love Roger McGovern in that film. That I remember early on when I started the channel. One of the first things I did was There's Always Vanilla watch along, and one of the things that just blew me away was going back and like watching Roger McGovern's performance and being like, this guy he was good. Like he really played, especially the scenes where he was stoned and drunk off his ass. So it was like you know played a really good drunk stoned you know fatherly figure type. Um, which like I think I mentioned before, according to John Russo and some others, he probably was drunk and stoned while they were filming, because I think Russo there's a documentary on that Blu-ray I was talking about for Russo. I think pretty much said through the whole filming of that movie, you know, they were all just stoned and wild as Indians. So, um, but yeah, highly recommend checking it out, man. But if it's not your thing, you know, you're not alone. Let's see. Larry says, I'm watching as I drive. Oh, so you're headed there now. Okay. As you drive up to PA. Yeah, like I said, I'll be headed up Friday morning. I'll be headed that way. Hopefully, I'm going to be getting there late afternoon and early evening Friday. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But I'm glad you're checking this out. I'm glad I could keep you company on the road. It's you got a late night drive here. I don't know how much farther you got to go, but I know you got a lot to get up there for and prepare for and get ready. But yeah, let's see. Let's see. All right, let me get back to let's talk about this VIP brunch, Sunday brunch at the cemetery. Now, if you've ever asked yourself, or if you've ever said to yourself, like, man, my dream would be to eat breakfast in the Evans City Cemetery. Well, now's your chance. It's a VIP meet and greet brunch with the Night of the Living Dead cast at the Evans City Cemetery, Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon. And this does include the Night of the Living Dead filming locations tour, which I know Larry's going to be doing the cemetery, I think where the house used to be. I'm not sure what other locations that you got on the docket there, but so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Like I said, this is my first time going to the Evan City show. I guess they're doing it inside the chapel, and of course, that chapel was in danger of being destroyed, demolished, and it was kind of saved. I don't know the whole story on it, but it was kind of a group effort of Romero fans, and I know Gary Striner played a big role in saving that chapel. And basically, they just kind of not right. They didn't rebuild it; they remodeled it. I guess just kind of updated the chapel to where it's usable now. And I guess that's where they're going to hold it. And then I guess you can just. It's going to be very interesting. I was thinking about this too, and I saw it's going to be very. Which I guess people up there are kind of used to it now at this point, but it'd be pretty interesting to be there. It's just this huge group of people eating like brunch, and everybody's just hanging out there, and people are like driving up to like visit their dead relatives and stuff, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on here?" But I guess like I said, they're probably used to it at this point. But so yeah, that's really exciting. I don't know. Okay, so you have to get the VIP tickets, the VIP pass for that. But that's really cool. And of course, they do similar stuff like that at the Monroeville show as well. I know one year they had the cookout out back for the 4th of July. That was the year they were doing the Day of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead, 1985 themed show. Last year, and they usually will just have like a hangout like after hours in the mall. in the court area where George's bust is. So I guess this is kind of this year's Evans City version of this, where you can just go hang out in the cemetery and have brunch. So that's you got to give it up for the creativity on this. You got to give it up for that. Um, but yeah, and then of course, like you said, $50 for the tour with Larry. And I'm telling you, he's got props. I mean, I don't mean to keep putting you over. I know you're listening. You're probably just like, oh, stop talking about me. But yeah, I can't recommend it enough. If any this tour, the Monroeville tour, definitely money worth well spent there, I would say. And then looking here, you have location tours. Our tours are hosted by tour guide, Night of the Living Dead historian Lawrence DeBenson. Let's see, locations include the Evans City Cemetery, where we visit key grave markers featured on screen in Night of the Living Dead. And yeah, and like I said, Monroeville Mall has changed a lot over the years. So, and that's another thing Larry does a great job of is giving you kind of a visual idea of where you can kind of piece the shit together in your head from the movie. But the thing about the Evans City Cemetery, I mean, like I said, it's a cemetery. Not much has changed. It pretty much looks exactly the same as it did in 1968. Few less trees. There were a lot more trees back then, but I think a tornado came through and pretty much blew all those down some years back. So, and the original farmhouse location, I've never actually been to that. So I'm actually not sure where that one's at. So that would be pretty cool. Just the farmhouse is no longer there because they pretty much tore it down immediately after the filming of the movie. So, but that would be amazing. Could you imagine the people that own that house? Like, could you? I don't even know if they probably even thought about it. But imagine, like, you're like, okay, I'm gonna let these guys. They're gonna film in this house that we're about to tear down anyway. Go ahead, do what you want. Yeah, it's fine. And then they're done. They're just like, okay, they're done. All right, we're going to tear this house down and build something else or whatever they did with it. And then, like, years later, they're just like this. They used to own the house in one of the biggest horror films ever made, one of the biggest films ever made, and they're just like, yeah, we tore it down. They could do like I know the Buffalo Bill house from Silence of the Lambs. The people that own that now. They do like where you can just tour it, and I think you can even like stay the night in the house or something like that. It's pretty cool. So yeah, and then of course there's vendors. That's typically my favorite part of going to conventions. I love just the vendor tables and just seeing what people have, seeing what people have for sale, and uh, the Doodles of the Dead booth with. Uh, with my boy Dan. I mean, the stuff that he has is fucking insane. It's like if I had the money to spend, I could probably help him retire early, buying some of the stuff that he has up, some of the art. I know I've bought a couple of drawings from him. But yeah, Dan Lowry, his booth, check it out. It's the Doodles of the Dead booth. And he's just got all kinds of art, collectibles, and posters, and just anything and everything you could think of. It's pretty amazing. Pretty sure he'll be there. But yeah, just all the different vendors and stuff going on. Actually, there's one vendor here. I think it's excited about. So Zolo World, I guess is the name of this. So Zolo World presents a brand new and fully licensed Night of the Living Dead Retro Reverse Series action figure. I have no fucking idea what Retro Reverse Series means, but the fact that we're getting new, which it's crazy. I know we just talked about a couple weeks ago the new line of Day of the Dead figures that are going to be coming out soon. Now we're going to have a new line of Night of the Living Dead figures as well. And I'm somewhat of a figure collector. I have quite a few. I don't know why I got into it. It was just one of those things when I first started collecting Romero stuff. One of the first things that I started collecting were figures. So I have all kinds over here, but the fact that we're getting some, I'm pretty excited to see what these look like. I guess they're going to be unveiling what kind of the prototypes or whatever. I don't know if they're going to be black and white or painted or what the deal is. But I'm excited to see what these things are going to look like and which ones are going to be represented, because I know that they've released those like Mego type figures. I have them all over here, but I'm going to get them. I don't know what they're called. But anyway, so there's one of like Barbara's, one of Karen, there's one of Ben, and then there's one of the Graveyard Zombie. I would love to have a Johnny figure, like a good like Johnny figure, or a good Harry Cooper. If they have them all, that would be really fucking cool. But I'm excited to check these out and see what these look like, because the fact that we were going to get Captain Rhodes and Sarah figures uh, is already exciting enough. So just something else for me to blow money on at this point. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Probably, probably not a good thing, but not a bad thing. I mean, you're getting something you want. Never let anybody shame you and giving up your hobbies and what you like to do and what you like to collect. Because really, we're all collecting something. It's just some of us cooler shit than others. That's the way I look at it. So yeah, excited about the vendors and merchandise, and I always, no matter what convention you're in, you always try to, patronize the vendors and stuff, because I'm sure we'll probably see. I'll actually be interested to see if we'll see a Severin booth there again this year. We'll see if they try to sell me Four Flies on Gray Velvet 4K for $90 again. Maybe I can talk them down this time if they're there. $90. You already fucking mind. Um, So yeah, Living Dead Weekend, bringing the dead back to life, celebrating George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead and the entire library of films based on the Living Dead series. Our new venue is the brand new state-of-the-art event center located just 5 miles from Evans City Cemetery. So yeah, I mean this events Steam Fitters Events Center, I believe, yeah, brand new place. I mean, it looks fantastic. It's got a little video here, I guess, just kind of showing you what the convention center kind of looks like, what the layout looks like. I know they did it. That they had it here last year, and like I said, I couldn't make it to the one last year, so this will be the first time that I'll actually be visiting this little event center here. So I'm pretty excited to see what the layout and stuff's going to be. So, like I said, I've been to the Monroeville show enough that I'm kind of very familiar with what's going on. Check some of these comments here. Got one from Robert Dobbins. I wish I would have gotten VIP tickets rather than weekend tickets. But you live, you learn. Yeah, and weekend tickets. I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, like I said, if you want to go to any of the screenings, I mean, you got $10, $10 a piece to add on to that. The VIP tickets, I mean, $150. It's a little steep, but get some pretty damn cool stuff in it. I mean, just just eating brunch in the cemetery alone is worth the price of admission alone. There, it'd be pretty sweet. Let's see. Larry says also going to the opening road shots at the beginning of the film. Those are definitely locations that I would love to figure out where those are, because I know that they've changed a lot. I know some people that have been there, but I personally haven't been able to make it there quite yet either. Let's see, also the Posse Bridge location and on to the farmhouse property in front of the farmhouse spot where the truck exploded. I have been to the Posse Bridge location. I have seen that. I was able to track that one down. And that was kind of weird because there's like it's like there's like a couple of houses right there. So if you kind of get out and start walking around, it's like sometimes people there will just kind of poke their head out, just like, what's this guy up to? But I guess if you're in a large car and you're actually doing a tour, I think you'll be okay. But definitely the house from Night 90, the farmhouse from Night 90. Stay away from that place. I know some. I've heard some stories. Let's just say about the people that live there. They're not. I guess they're not big Romero fans. We'll just say that. And Larry have a large vendor booth. Also with lots of lighted films cell displays. That's right. I've seen a lot of your stuff on that you've been posting on Facebook. A lot of the film cell displays. It's hard to explain if you haven't seen it. I mean, I'll just put a link in the description here if anybody's interested. But yeah, great work on that. that'll be, yeah. And you usually have a booth. I think I bought something off of you a couple of years ago at LDW. I think I bought like a DVD or something of like a the Zombie One or something like that. Just one of those weird like foreign releases of Dawn of the Dead that I didn't own, and I was just like, yeah, I'll buy this. What the hell? It's got a cool cover. Um, so yeah, definitely be stopping by that booth as well. And so Severin will be there, according to Larry. So I'm excited. I'm gonna see because if you haven't heard the story, I mean, it's like last Living Dead weekend in June. I was there, went up to the Severin booth, and I haven't bought. I'm a huge Argento fan, so of course I haven't bought the Four Flies 4K yet. So I go up there and I see it on the table. And of course, originally the idea was that they was going to be available for a weekend, and then after that, you know, they weren't going to have any more. So when I saw them at the table, I was like, oh, that's a little weird. But I went up to, I was looking at it, and we were talking about Argento, and the guy that was selling it. I was looking at that, and I was looking at uh, the 4K they did for the 5 days uh, as well. We were talking about it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, how much for the Four Flies? He's like, and there was like two left on the table. And he was just like, well, man, once these two are gone, that's all we got. These are the very last two. So I could probably do 90 on that. I was just like, 90, okay, okay, cool. And I put it down, and I was just like, all right, well, I'll think about it. I'll come back. And I was like, nah, maybe I can get it for less than 90 this year. Maybe I can talk him down. Just thought I was a real mark. Let's see, Robert Dobbins' Night 90 is my second favorite movie, with Day first, then Dawn third. Sorry, Alf, I know Dawn's your favorite. Well, yeah, Night 90 is like I said, the first Romero film, quote unquote. It's a Savini directed film, but the first Romero film that Romero had any involvement in, I would say. First one that I saw growing up. So I do have a soft spot in my heart for Night 90. And man, Day, I mean, I can't argue. Day is, like with Vanilla. I mean, you're in good company, because Day of the Dead it was George's favorite of his zombie films. So you and George are right there, and I hear that a lot more these days. And like I've mentioned before, to me, Day of the Dead is George's The Thing. Like what The Thing was to John Carpenter, Day of the Dead is to George. Just the claustrophobic, like people trapped in this small area. I mean, the effects. I mean, the effects in Day of the Dead to me are just as good in a different way, but just as good as the effects in The Thing, or really pretty much any horror film I've seen since then. Even modern stuff, I still think the effects in Day of the Dead look and work better than a lot of the practical effects you see today. Um, so I can't argue with your list. I mean, yes, Dawn is far and away like that's my movie. I love Don. Martin's probably my second favorite Romero film, but can't argue with any of those. Um, so yeah, anything else here? So looking at the venue, and some frequently asked questions here. I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything you want me to look up, or anything you're confused on, or anything I can clarify. Let me know in the chat. Hotel. I hope everybody's gotten. If you're going to the event, you've gotten hotel. Got your hotel situation pegged down. There's quite a few hotels around that area, and it's a lot cheaper. That's one thing I noticed too about this trip. It's a lot cheaper to stay at the hotels in this area than it is trying to get a hotel in Monroeville or Pittsburgh. Um, so that's a huge plus about this event as well. Is very affordable and nice hotels. You don't have to stay at a the Sleep Easy Motel or whatever, Um, so yeah, very, very excited for this event. Very excited to get on the road and get to Pittsburgh. Very excited to, have an Iron City in my hand, and just take it all in. And like I said, man, Monday morning, I'm visiting the Romero Archive at the University of Pittsburgh. Got that appointment down. I beyond excited for that. I mean, that's literally dream come true level stuff for me. Pop back here, full screen. So yeah, that's like I said, that's dream come true shit right there for me. Just seeing some of that stuff, and like I said, if I could spend like a couple of days just sitting there going through all of it, I totally would. But like I said, I'm gonna try to get to the meat of the matter and try to get to the big things that I'd love to look at and see. Um, I'm so excited about it. Um, and yeah, I can't wait to kind of come back on here and divulge, findings and stories and all that good stuff. Um, Robert Dobbins got a flea bag motel in Pittsburgh, but I'll be happy as big shit. Hey, yeah, I will stay anywhere in Pittsburgh and be totally fine with it. I've stayed in really high end hotels in Pittsburgh, and I've stayed in some kind of shittier ones in Pittsburgh. And either way, I mean, you're in Pittsburgh. To me, the Holy Land. So, but yeah, if anybody got any questions, or it doesn't have to be anything about the event itself, even stay on here for a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna have to start. Actually, I need to start packing. I haven't packed a damn thing. Posters and stuff that I want to get signed. I still got framed up, and uh, yeah, I got some work to do, some laundry to do, and the fun part of taking the trip. Because like I said, tomorrow I'll be pretty much gone all night, so it's the night to do it. So, see if there's anything else that I'm leaving out. I think that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else to talk about tonight. But yeah, Halloween night. Yeah, like I said, Tales from the Dark Side, the complete series. We're watching season 1, episode 1, Trick or Treat, on Halloween night. I have never seen any of these episodes from Tales from the Dark Side, so I'm pretty excited to dig in. I know Grande over Grande's Graveyard. If you haven't checked his channel out, check him out. Good buddy of mine. He's been doing a lot of stuff on Tales from the Dark Side lately, so it's really kind of lit that fire to kind of inspire me to get my ass in gear and finally watch these things. But and I'll definitely be looking up what is it, Morgan Stewart's Coming Home or whatever it's called. Make sure I can read that so I don't forget, because that sounds fun. So so yeah, if you're traveling, Larry, I know you said you're traveling. Everybody be safe. Be careful out there. I'll see you when I get there. Hopefully I'll get there in one piece as well. And yeah, if you're flying in, have a good flight. What else to say, really? I feel like there was something else that I wanted to fucking mention here, and I've been like trying to bat it around in my head, trying to figure it out for the past like 5 minutes, but I can't think of it. Anyway, I'll think of it. But anyway, so yeah, planning on maybe doing some stuff while trying to track down some different locations that I haven't been to. Hopefully, my internet will work and I can do something while at the hotel, as opposed to this internet here. But so yeah, I'll be in touch all weekend. Like I said, I'll probably have some location shorts. I might try to hop on here one night over the weekend and do kind of a live stream, kind of let you know what's going on, and just trying to find the time to do it. So, but yeah, very excited. Headed out Friday morning, and I will be there. So hopefully you guys, if you're going, I'll see you there. If you see me, wave me down. If I look like a zombie, it's probably because I'm doing a whole lot over the next few days. But so yeah, wave me down, say hi, and that's pretty much it. That's all I got for tonight. So if you're going to the event, I'll see you there. If not, I'll see you guys in the chat here over the weekend. And like I said, I'll probably be doing a recap show sometime middle of next week when I get back here into town and get everything unpacked and settled back in. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. So everybody have a good, safe trip. Have a good rest of the night. Have a good rest of the week. And if you're going to the show, I'll see you there. And as always, you guys have a good one. And stay scared. As a great man once said, stay scared. Good night, everybody.